Welcome back to the Cine-Ops Podcast. Every episode we do a different movie. Every episode we do a different movie. I'm wearing different headphones, but welcome back to the Cine-Ops Podcast. Every episode we narrate a different movie. We talk about it, joke around, and we're movie people, right? We like movies. We love each other, and it's what am I trying to do? I'm just handing out synopses. I'm handing out synopses for movies maybe you haven't seen, maybe you have seen, you want to revisit, you want to talk about it, maybe you like me enough to hear my version of the movie. That's what the Cine-Ops Podcast is. The Cine-Ops Podcast is just handing out synopsis of movies. And we make friends, make some enemies along the way, but that's all right. So for today's, everybody liked a lot of people have been watching the YouTube video. Thanks for watching the video. A lot more people, is doing better on YouTube than it is on all the other stuff I've been doing, the Spotify and that. So that's good. People are listening. People are liking it. I don't feel so bad about doing these episodes because, it's like, only this many or whatever it is. But at the same time, I think I need to get over that because I like doing this. I like watching movies, noticing things or interpreting them in my own way. And then, I'll talk to somebody about, oh, yeah, the movie is this and this. And then maybe it inspires that person to go watch that movie for me to maybe watch another movie. You know what I mean? That's what movie culture is supposed to be about. Just enjoying movies, talking about movies. Let's not get too deep about whatever it is, right? So for today's episode, right, we're going to do the movie Cars. And I might do the marathon, right? The same way I did for Kung Fu Panda, where I did 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to do Cars the same way because they're in threes. The second one was kind of weird. In the second Cars movie, we found out that some cars can be murdered. So there was a murder in Cars 2, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. The reason the movie Cars is a big deal, right? Not only am I a movie guy, I'm a car guy. Like my stepdad was a mechanic and he had a lot of different shops. So I kind of always grew up around the industry, if you will. I told you that story in the Fast and Furious episode. I told you the story of when my stepdad and he partnered up. They opened a tire shop and did a little bit of light mechanic work. And then I went to go work with him, right? I was a kid. I was 13 years old. I was changing tires. I went to go work with him. Him and the partner, they didn't have a falling out. He just like, hey, I don't want this half of the shop anymore. Just have it, whatever. And my stepdad left, and he just left me there. So I grew up in the car industry, right? But this movie Cars, it was a Pixar movie, right? At the time where Pixar was like the best, right? Disney's Pixar, it was on a wild run, doing great movies, and here's this movie Cars, and you're like, who cares? What could a Cars movie? What could that story even be, right? What is it? And I'm telling you, it's a good story. It's a good movie, and it's a good story. And I would say that at the time the movie came out, at the time Cars came out, it had probably one of the best toy lines, only second to the original Ninja Turtles toy line. The Ninja Turtles, they have like the best toy line. They had figures for everything. And this one, same way. Whoever did the marketing for the movie Cars, they did it. They did it. And another reason that the movie Cars is special to me personally, not only that I was a car guy, it was amazing, I loved it. When I was in the Marines, right? When I was in the Marines, we got sent to 29 Palms. I was in 29 Palms, and we were at some range. And the way, there's these training areas, ranges, whatever they are. And in this range specifically, this was like the desert. This was like, we were in the desert. So in this range specifically, there was no service, no cell phone service. So even if we had our phones, we couldn't even be on our phones. TikTok wasn't even out back then. I think like TikTok was like still brand new at the time. So like nobody was on TikTok. Nobody was really on their phones too much. And we were just sitting there, right? We were just sitting in our area eating chow, bored. Nobody had anything to do. And my one friend, he says, has anybody ever seen that movie Cars? He specifically asked for the movie Cars. I don't know why. Why was it on his mind? I don't know. And he says, anybody seen that movie Cars? And I said, yeah, I've seen it. And he says, what's that movie even about? I'll tell you what's it about. So I started from the very beginning. I told him every detail, everything that I could remember about this movie, which somehow it's my gift. I can remember these movies. And I told him everything I remember about the movie. And I ended, and I said, that's the movie Cars. That's what it's about. And everybody, right, it took up the whole our chow time, and everybody's like, whoa, bro, I feel like I just watched it in my head. Dude, have you ever watched this movie? And then I became the movie guy. I was like, they would come out and say, hey, bro, you ever seen this movie? I would scan the database. Oh, yeah, I've seen RoboCop. Yeah, Alex Murphy. Yeah, Officer Murphy. Yeah, I have seen Hannibal Lecter. I have seen this. And any movie that I had watched, I could remember. And even if it wasn't perfect, which now I have a computer, right? I could have the movie playing right over there. But for the first few years, I didn't do that. I would just do it from memory. And when I was in the Marines, I would just do it from memory. And everybody's like, bro, that was so awesome, bro. You did the movie. And it was cool because it would be like my squad, right? My platoon. It was a couple of guys. It was like 20 guys, 25 guys. And then the company was showing up. And then like at chow time, they'd be like, hey, Rado, hit they'd be like, hey, Rado, hit it. That's what they call me, Rado, Alvarado. And say, Rado, hit it. And I would like pick up right where I left off, because sometimes the chow time was so short, I wasn't able to finish a movie. So like we'd go do whatever we needed to do. Chow time, everybody get their seats, and they started gathering around me. Like if I was doing stand-up, right? I was at the front, and I would stand up, and I was telling them these movies. And I was telling them, oh yeah, and Jet Li, he had a collar, and whenever he took the collar off, he was dangerous. And then they'd be like, hey, back to work. So then next time I tell a story, and the crowds got bigger, right? They got bigger and bigger, and it felt like I was doing stand-up. Like I was this one-man show telling these stories to this company, right? To a couple of companies at one point. And I was telling these stories, and everybody loved it. And it was like a good time. You know what I mean? It was a cool time. And I said, oh, you know what? When I get back, I'm gonna do a podcast, right? So I remember we got back like in November, December. I think by April 2018, I put out the first episode of the podcast. April or May 2018, did the first episode. Nobody from my platoon listened. I got 0 listens. Nobody listened to the episodes. And I was like, oh, bro, this ain't it, bro. And I remember, you know what? Let me get back to the story, right? That's why Cars is important, because it was one of the first stories that I told in real life. One of the first movies I did in real life, and everybody was like, "Oh, bro, do this movie." So it was kind of like a gateway, like the starting drug, the gateway drug to doing more movies, to doing the podcast, right? I had already done it a little bit before at engineer school, but this was like the big leagues, right? But I guess these are the big leagues, right? If you're at home watching, you're listening to me, if it's something that you're like, oh, Alvi's podcast dropped, Alvi's new episode dropped, I'm going to play it. Or you're like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And I know I let you down all the time, right? Some days I don't post, whatever. I'm the worst, I know. But yeah, I think if my stories or me talking to you is one of the highlights of your week or day or whatever it might be, or if you consider me a movie person that you like to check out, that's a win. That's a win to me. That's all I need. So in the movie Cars, right? In the movie Cars, everybody is a car. Good night. Thank you. That's the end of the movie. So in the movie Cars, everybody's a car. And of course, our main character is this young rookie race car, number 95, Ka-chow! Lightning McQueen. His name is Lightning. For you to be a racer, and your name is Lightning, you got to be good. Oh, and he's good. He's a red racer, right? He's doing the laps in NASCAR, and the movie starts, and he's warming himself up. He's gonna do this thing. He's talking to himself. He's like, focus, speed, right? Talking to himself, motivating him. Boom, and they start the race, right? So the movie starts already in the race. The movie starts already. Lightning McQueen, all right? It's the last race of the season, of the NASCAR season. And everybody's in it, and this is how we're introduced to our characters. So in the first 5 minutes, they're playing the song, they're doing the races, and we're seeing how everybody's racing. We're getting introduced to them. And our main character is Lightning McQueen. And he's fast, and we notice when he hits the pit stops, he's like smiling at the camera, he's arrogant, he's cocky, he's a hot shot. You know what I mean? Cool your jets, hot shot. That's what old timers say. He's a hot shot, man. Lightning McQueen. And he's smiling at the cameras, winking at the girls, winking at the fans. And then he's doing his laps, right? And it comes to the last lap. And at the last lap, instead of going to the pits, fueling up and changing tires, he's like, no tires, just gas. Give me the gas. So he can get out of there faster and he can keep getting ahead. But that's not smart, right? Because you wear down these tires in a race. So he's entering the last lap. And the other racers, the main ones, they get into this big accident. So there's only 3 racers left. There's Cal Weathers, who's no, not Cal Weathers. There's 3 racers left. The blue car, named the King. The green car, named Chet Hicks. And then Lightning McQueen, the red car. Blue, red, green. And the way it is, the way we see it, is like the blue car, he's like, this is his last race. He's been the best for a long time. This is his last race. Everybody wants to see him win. The green car, he's the runner-up. Chet Hicks, he's a hater. He's a cheater. He's the one who he believes deserves to win because he's been following the blue car his whole career. But now the rookie, his first season, he's in the last lap with these last 2 guys. Right? So now Lightning McQueen, he's almost a full lap ahead of everybody. But there's a big accident. Everybody has to get into the pits, whatever it is. And then the race starts again with the last 3 cars that are left that didn't crash. And they're racing, and Lightning McQueen, because he hasn't been changing out his tires, he's almost a full lap ahead. So he's like, yeah, so in his head, he's like, yes, I did. I'm the rookie of the year. I came in my first big race, and I'm going to win the Piston Cup. That's the name of the thing, the Piston Cup. Right, so he's winning, and as he's rounding that last turn for the home stretch, his tires give out. Because he wasn't doing it right. He wasn't doing the right thing. He wasn't changing out his tires. His tires gave out. So now, back tires blown. Back left's blown. Back right's blown. So he's like, he's like skidding. He's like, he's trying to like, and the cars are like people, right? So he's like, he's trying to get to the finish line. He's like crouching and he's like limping and crouching to the finish line. But the other racers see this. They're like, Lightning blew some tires. Let's go. So they start hauling ass. to the front of the line. So they're catching up to Lightning as Lightning is about to cross the finish line, and they all end at the same time. It's too close to call. We don't know who it was. The arrogant rookie, the veteran, the runner-up. That's the way they call him up. We don't know. It's too close. It's too close to call. We don't know. So Lightning, even though he popped his tires, this and that, he's arrogant. He's like, oh, man, I did it. I know I came in first. I did it, this and this. And then they call it, right? They view the tapes. They look at the results. And they're like, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever. And Lightning McQueen's like, he jumps out of the stage because he's like, yes, a rookie won the race, right? Oh, yeah. He jumps forward. He's like, a rookie won the Piston Cup, yeah. And they're like, for the first time ever, it's a 3-way tie. Right? And they all come out. So they all come out and they all win, right? So essentially what they need to do now is they're going to be a tiebreaker race in California. So they're like in Georgia or Florida, whatever it is. They got to do a tiebreaker race, and whoever wins that race is the winner, right? They win the Piston Cup. And the blue car, he signed. That's another thing about this movie. Like, we're kids, we're watching this, but at the same time, there's sponsorships and all kind of stuff like that. So now he has to get to California, right? So now Lightning McQueen. So now they know, right? There's a 3-way tie. We gotta go to California, this and that. And then this is the blue car's last race, right? He races with Dynaco. And Dynaco is like the big company. They got the budget, they got the money, they got everything they want. And everybody else, their sponsorships are a little less, right? So they don't make as much money. They don't have as much nice things. And Lightning specifically, he has probably one of the poorest sponsorship, right? He's sponsored by a company called Rusty's. Rusty's. With a little bit of Rusty's, you too can look like me. God, chow. That's his slogan, right? But Lightning McQueen, he's so arrogant and cocky. He doesn't like this company because they're all rusted cars because they buy this product. And he's like, oh, man, I'm this hot, new, young, fast race car. Rookie of the year, probably. I don't want to be sponsored. Well, he doesn't like the company. He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed that this small company put him through the races. So he wants He wants Dinoco, right? He wants to race with these guys. So him and Chet, they're like, hey, how about this? First one in California, they get Dinoco, baby. Because like whoever wins really is gonna get Dinoco. But right, so Lightning McQueen. So now there's a 3-way race, right? But the thing about Lightning McQueen is like he's a dick, right? He's an asshole. He's a dick. Nobody likes him. So his crew chief, they quit on him. Like the crew and the people that fill him up with gas, they quit on him because he's always so arrogant. He's like, yeah, they're interviewing him. He's like, yeah, it's pretty hard. They're interviewing him, and he's like, yeah, it's pretty hard. Yeah, I'm a one-man show. I could do it all by myself, this and that. And the pit crew, they're like, what? Oh, I can't believe this guy. This guy's the worst. And they quit on him. So he's young, he's fast, he's winning, but nobody likes him, right? He doesn't have a team. Nobody likes him. He's arrogant. He's kind of the worst. He's young, he's arrogant. Nobody likes him. He's full of himself, right? He's cocky. He's probably rich. He's the worst. And he's kind of the worst, right? So now they have to get in their trailers, which is also a person, right? Mac is his trailer. They're also a person, pretty chill guy. And he's like, all right, Lightning, let's get over here, right? And they start their track, right? They're on their way to California, right? And when they're on their way to California, Lightning McQueen, he's inside the cab. He's inside the cab and he's talking to his manager, Harv. And they're talking about it, right? They're like, hey, man, good job on the race, this and that. Listen, they gave me 20 tickets for friends and family. Who do you want me to send them to, right? And he's like, and then that's when we realized that Lightning, even though, I don't know what his life has been like before this, but he's arrogant. He doesn't have a lot of friends, right? We don't know who his family is. He doesn't have a lot of family, doesn't have any friends. Maybe that's why he's cocky, or maybe he's cocky and pushed his friends away, or maybe he never had any, whatever. That's not what this is about. But, we see that he's alone, right? He doesn't have any friends. But anyway, so he's telling Mac, he's like, Mac, come on, we got to get to California. And Mac's like, oh man, I gotta pull over, get some rest, Mac. I gotta pull over, get some rest. I gotta sleep. He's like, nah, man, come on, man. I'm gonna stay up with you the whole night. Let's just get over there. He's like, oh, really? All right, yeah, let's get over there. And Lightning immediately falls asleep. He's asleep, and Mac's driving, right? Mac's driving. He's driving. He's falling asleep. He's getting tired. And then we see probably one of the coolest scenes. If you're a car guy, one of the coolest scenes in any movie, in any Pixar movie, animated, whatever it is. Boom, 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 and these tuner cars come up, right? And they're tuners, and like one's like a Toyota Celica, one's like a Mustang, and everybody's cool, right? All these Fast and Furious cars, they got underglow, they got cool signs, and they're just like not following the rules, bumping music. These cool cars, right? And they pull up and they see that it's I don't know if they see that it's Lightning McQueen or they see that the truck's falling asleep. Right, so the leader, I think his name's Boost, he's like, yo, Wingo, we got ourselves a nodder. Right, got a nodder, man, falling asleep. He's nodding away. And DJ, the one playing the music, he has this big stereo system. He puts on like a lullaby, right? And Mac, he's like falling asleep while he's driving. He's like, oh, starts falling asleep. And the reason I know these scenes so well, I promise you, I don't have it playing on the movie, is because my son would ask me to tell him these stories when he would go to sleep. Like, hey, Dad, tell me when Mac fell asleep, right? But anyway, so Mac falls asleep, and they're like, yo, lane change. And they start pushing him out of the lane, just messing with him, right? They weren't really like trying to kill him or anything like that. They were just kind of messing with him a little bit. And then one of them sneezes, right? Snot rod. He sneezes, and they're like, oh, let's get out of here, right? So they get out of there. They race out of there. But when they did that, Mac shook a little bit. Something inside the cabin fell. It hit the button, and the back door opened up. So while Lightning McQueen was asleep, he started rolling out the back of the truck. And Mac, he's asleep. He's like, oh, what was that? Oh, nothing. Let's keep going. Right, so now he's driving down the road, left Lightning McQueen behind. Lightning McQueen, he's asleep in the middle of the freeway at night, and he doesn't have headlights because race cars don't need headlights because the track's always lit. Yeah, so is my brother, but he still needs headlights. That's one of the jokes they say in it. Great movie. So does my brother, but he still needs headlights because he drinks and drives. I think that's what he referred to. But anyway, right. So he wakes up in the middle of the street. Cars are coming to him. And he's like, oh, what's going on, right? So he panics and he starts revving around. And he's a race car, right? So he's racing. He's like going harder than the other cars. but he doesn't have headlights. He doesn't know where he is. He just woke up, and he's like, Mac, where's Mac? And he sees a red trailer taking an exit, and he's like, oh, that's Mac right there. So he goes, he's following him in the dark, right? Dirt road in the dark. He's following him, and he's crossing the train tracks, and now there's a train coming. So he has to beat the train, and it almost gets him. Boom, and he makes it. And he makes it. He catches up to Mac, to the truck, and he's like, Mac. And the truck's like, Mac? I ain't no Mac. I'm a Peterbilt. I'm a Peterbilt for Dak Sykes. Right? So he's like, oh no, where's Mac? Oh, I got to get back to the interstate. Right? So he turns around, he turns left, he starts going, and there was like a sheriff behind the billboard, right? And Lightning McQueen's going fast because he's a race car. So he's like, oh, I gotta get over there, right? So the sheriff's like, oh, not in my town. And the sheriff starts chasing him, right? So he's like, oh, why is it police chasing me? Oh, let me do I guess in the NASCAR, you gotta do like serpentine where you gotta like turn like that for whatever reason. And then the sheriff's like, what's this dude doing? What's this guy doing? Right? So the sheriff starts chasing. The sheriff hasn't gone that fast in years, so he starts backfiring a little bit. And Lightning McQueen, he's like, why is he firing at me? Right? So he starts going even faster. And he goes even faster, and he comes to this little town. And it's the first time we see this town, right? And he comes to this town, and he starts like almost crashing into everything. He accidentally hits a barbed wire fence. He hits the barbed wire, and he's like, what's happening? He runs into, there's like a tire shop right there. He runs into it. He's covered in tires. He's dragging the fence post with the barbed wire. He accidentally grabs a statue while he wraps around it, and he's still running. So the statue, it falls, it stabs into the road, and as he's driving, it's ripping the road apart. Boom, he's ripping the road apart, and eventually he hits another fence post. He hits another fence. He hits another barbed wire fence. It slings him this way, catapults him this way, and he ends up in the electric, like in the telephone lines. And he's hanging, right? He's hanging from the barbed wire, and the sheriff catches up to him, and he's like, son, you're in a heap of trouble. Son, you're in a heap of trouble. He like passes out or something or whatever. I don't know. But now at this point, Mac just got to California, and he opens up so Mac parks. He opens up the compartment, and there's no Lightning McQueen, and all the news reporters and everybody's like, oh my God, what is it? And Mac turns around. And says, did I forget to wipe my mud flaps? Which is, oh, bro, peak comedy for me right now, and for when I first watched this movie. But anyway, they're like, everybody's wondering, where's Lightning? Where's Lightning McQueen? And then we see for the first time, Mater, like Mater. And Lightning McQueen opens his eyes, right? And he sees Mater. He's like, who are you? He's like, oh, I'm Mater. What's your name? He's like, you don't know my name? Because he's technically a celebrity, an athlete, right? In this world, he's like a famous athlete. And he's like, oh, sure, I know your name. He's like, you do? Is your name Mater too? He's like, what? No, this and that. So Lightning McQueen, he's in the impound lot, right? So it was just like a jail. He has a boot on. They can't take him anywhere. And the sheriff comes, right? He's like, boy, you better get ready. We going to the courthouse, right? They go into the courthouse because he's technically under arrest for racing around town and almost damaging everything or whatever. And he's in the courthouse, right? So now, Lightning McQueen, he's in the courthouse, and he's like, he's scared because the townspeople, there's only like 8 townspeople. He's in there. He's in there with the sheriff, and they're like, all rise, right? The judge is coming in, and the judge comes in, right? And it's this old school car, and he's like, I want to know who ripped up my road. I want to know this. I'm going to throw him in jail until the jail rots. Then I'm going to throw him in another jail until that jail rots on top of him. Right? So the judge comes in. He's mad. And he gets to his stand. He takes one look at Lightning McQueen. He's like, Sheriff, throw him out of here. I don't want him in this courtroom, and I don't want him in our town. Case dismissed. Right? So Lightning's like, oh, yeah, perfect. Case dismissed. So he could get out of there, find his way to California. He'll be done. But another car walks into the courtroom. It's a Porsche. Her name is Sally. Right? So Sally's like, Doc, because the judge's name, the guy's name is Doc Hudson. He's like, Doc. He's like, no, we need him We need him to fix the road. That's what the punishment needs to be. He has the horsepower to do it. Nobody else here can fix the road. He's the one who needs to pull the machine and fix the road. And then she talks him into it, and he's like, oh, all right. Right, fix the road, right? You got 5 days to fix the road. Fix the road and get out of here, right? So now Lightning McQueen is stuck in this town until he's done fixing the road. Then he can go home. Then he can go to his race. He only had a week. Anyway. They take him outside with old Bessie. And old Bessie is this old machine that pours hot asphalt onto the ground and steamrolls it over, so it's super heavy. Nobody else can do it, but since he's a race car, he has a strong engine, he'll be able to do it. Right, so they hook him up because he's technically like a prisoner, right? He's technically a prisoner. So they're watching him. There was a few times, right? So when Mater takes the boot off of him to hook him up to the machine, Lightning McQueen takes off going, right? Because he's a race car. They took the thing off, and he's out of there, right? But they were smart enough to siphon his gas out while he was asleep, so he didn't get very far. So while they're bringing him back, they're hooking him up to the machine, we're getting to know the other characters. And so we know Mater, he's cool. We know the sheriff, Sally, and everybody else in the town, right? And like throughout the movie, we kind of get to know them. Like everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's kind of special, whatever it is, right? Whatever life's about. So they hook him up to the machine, and he's pulling this thing, right? It's probably like same day, maybe the next day, and he's pulling this machine, and he's sweating, right? He's strong enough to pull it, but he has to make the road, whatever it is, right? It's the punishment, right? And then he's trying to ask people for help. There's like a few people that come by asking for help. He's trying to talk to Luigi, who's the owner of the tire store. And he's like, please, I'm a famous race car driver. So please, he's like, you are a famous race car driver? You are a famous race car driver? He's like, yeah. He's like, do you know any Ferrari? He's like, no, they race in the European. I race over here. Luigi follows only the Ferrari. But anyway, right? So, right, they're bothering him, whatever, and he's like, all right, let me just focus. All I gotta do is finish this road, and then I can leave, right? And Mater's like, yeah, that's what they said. He's like, okay, all right, and he starts hauling, right? He starts hitting the gas on it, and then we see Mater's like, he's done with the road, and they go tell Doc Hudson, and they're like, what? It's only been a day. It's only been like a few hours. How could it be done already? And they look, and it's the worst road you've ever seen. It's all lumpy. It's not even. And they're like, no, this is bad. This isn't the right road. You need to scrape this up. So now you have to scrape it up and do it again. And Lightning McQueen's talking shit to him. He's like, what? He's like, no, I got to get out of here. This and that. I'm a race car driver. I'm a race car. I got to get out of here. He's like, oh, you're a race. Doc Hudson's like, oh, you're a race car driver, huh? Well, how about this, hot rod? Or how about a race? You win, I'll pave the road. He's like, I win. You scrape it up, do it right. He's like, oh yeah. And Lightning McQueen, he's like, oh, you hit. He's like, let me guess, you go 0 to 60 in 2.3 years. I thought that was a good burn. But he's like, all right, let's go race, right? So they go to this dirt track, and like out in the desert, right over here somewhere, there's like a dirt track. And he's like, all right, let's go. So Lightning turns on his engines. They go. Lightning turns on his engine. Doc Hudson turns on his. Lightning McQueen's loud. And Doc Hudson's just like a regular old car. And then they hit go. They say go, and Lightning takes off. And he's lapping him, right? He's way up there, way ahead of him. Doc Hudson didn't even go. And he's like, all right, let's go. So Doc Hudson starts going slow. Not even like in a race speed, right? Just like regular. And then Lightning McQueen, as he's he's doing that last turn, he oversteers and he drifts, like crashes, right? He drifts and crashes. He can't finish the race. So Doc Hudson's like, hey, what was that? What was that? Was that floating like a Cadillac or stinging like a Beamer? He's telling him, like, look, it's not all about, in a way, I guess he's teaching him a lesson already. He's like, it's not about like power. It's about strategy, right? It's about knowing how to race this and that. He's a father figure to him in a way. So now Lightning McQueen, he's scraping up the old road, and he's like, what? How did he do that? How am I supposed to, how am I supposed to turn right? What happened, right? He's trying to understand what happened, why he oversteered and drifted into the cactus, to the cacti. So Lightning McQueen, he scrapes up the thing, and then he's working all night, right? He's working all night because now Even though he is working, he's thinking about the race that he just lost. He's rookie of the year. He's hot shot. How could I lose to this old car by this way or whatever, right? So morning comes, and a section of the road is complete and it's perfect. And they're like, wow, look at this new road. It's so perfect. And Doc Hudson's like, huh, not bad, right? Old dad. He's like, not bad. Where is this? Where is he anyway? And it turns out the sheriff was like, hey, he finished the road, so he finished that part of the road, so he wanted to come out and practice that race again. He's like, huh, okay. So he's like, yeah, let me see him, let me talk to him or whatever, right? So now Doc Hudson is there talking to him, and he's like, what are you doing? It's not all about power, it's not all about this. And he tells him sometimes you gotta turn right to go left, right? So Doc Hudson's giving him advice, and he's like, let me put it this way. Sometimes if you turn hard enough right, you'll find yourself going left. And he's like, oh, really? Wow, thanks for nothing. That's bad advice. He's like, what? Lightning's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. This and that. No. And he just takes off, doesn't listen, right? Because he's hot-headed. He's arrogant. He's not, I don't know what it is when you're a young man, right? But he doesn't want to listen to that, right? And he crashes again. So then he's fixing the road again, and he's like talking to himself, right? He's talking to himself, trying to understand what he needs to do, and he doesn't get it. But anyway, this night, I guess they have to take turns watching him. So now it's Mater, right? Mater. So it's his turn to watch it. It's his turn to watch Lightning McQueen, and he's like, hey man, you want to go check something out? And he's like, what? All right, because it's at the end of the day. He's like, what? He's like, all right, let's go. And he go, right? He's like, you want to go tractor tipping, right? They go tractor tipping, and Mater goes up to this tractor that's asleep. He honks the horn, and the tractor goes, oh, boom, he falls backwards. It's like cow tipping. It's cow tipping, but tractor tipping, right? And so he's like, you go, your turn, bro. He's like, I can't, I don't have a horn. He's like, what? He's like, all right, I think of something, right? So he revs his engine hard, and every tractor in the field, they turn upside down, they fall on their backs, and they fart or whatever. I don't know. It's super funny. And then he's like, oh. So they're laughing, right? They're officially friends, right? They become friends. And he's like, they hear something, right? And he's like, what's that noise? And Mater's like, that's Frank. Because at the beginning he says, yeah, no matter what, don't let Frank catch you. And he's like, what? That's Frank. So they take off running, right? And Frank is this giant, like, I don't know, like a lawnmower, like some kind of tractor that whatever it is, a giant farm equipment, whatever. And he's like this bull, and he sees him messing with the cow, so that's why he's chasing him, right? So now Lightning, he's scared. Mater's laughing, but they're racing out of there, and they make it off. They get off the farm, right? But then when they get off the farm, they break the fence, right? That comes into play later because a lot of the tractors get out. So they become friends, right? Pretty much what we see is that Lightning and Mater, they bond over this little thing, and they become friends. So they become friends, and right, it's the next day. So it's the next day. Lightning McQueen, he needs something, right? He needs something to keep going. He needs like some oil or whatever. So he's like, hey, go wait over there by Doc. He's like, go check with Doc and see if you get some oil from him. So he goes to check with Doc. And Doc's like, hey, just wait outside, right? And while he's waiting outside, he's like kicking this can. The can goes into the garage. It's Doc Hudson's garage, right? And he goes in there to look for it. He's like, because he heard something break, so he's like, let me go check that out. He goes in the garage to check it out, and he's looking, and he notices there's something sticking out of a box. And it's a Piston Cup trophy. And a Piston Cup trophy is the race that he was doing at the beginning. It's like the big leagues, right? The championships. If you have one of these, you're the racer. So he's like, that's a Piston Cup, right? And then he looks, and there's another one, and there's 3 in total. There's 3 Piston Cups, and he's like, what is this? And then he sees some newspaper clippings, and it says the fabulous Hudson Hornet. Doc Hudson was the fabulous Hudson Hornet, and he's like, oh man, that's right. You're the fabulous Hudson Hornet. I can't believe I haven't seen it. Oh, you gotta teach me some of his tricks, right? Because he finds him. He's like, you're right, because Doc Hudson's like, I knew you couldn't drive. I didn't know you couldn't read, right? Because there was a sign that says keep out. And he's like, oh, you're the fabulous Hudson Hornet. We gotta talk. You gotta show me some of your tricks. He's like, I already tried that. Now get out of here. Because when he told him to go turn right to go left, he's like, now get out of here. And he goes and he tells everybody, guys. He's like, guys, did you know Doc Hudson's a famous race car? And they're like, what? Nah, Doc Hudson, nah, but y'all, it's so funny. Now you're lying, right? So now he knows he's a race car, but whatever, right? So now he knows Doc Hudson used to be a famous race car driver. So anyway, so Sally, this is kind of like the love interest of Lightning McQueen. She's like, hey, let's just go for a drive. You've been working hard. Let's go on a drive. And then it comes to that moment where, like, he's free. He could turn left and take off to freedom, or he could follow Sally and do this, right? So he decides to follow Sally, right? And they go on a drive. They go on a drive and they get to know each other. They get to know a lot of things. And he's like, where are we going? Like, should we race there or whatever like this? And then pretty much she's showing him like, yo, like not everything is a race. Like we just go for a nice drive. And then, it's something that he's learning, right? Something he learns to like take it easy, just calm down and just go for a stroll. And at the same time, that's our story. The story is like they cut the interstate, right? The freeway, they cut the interstate. And all the small towns, including Radiator Springs, which was like a town that people would come to visit on their way to California or anything like that, it made those towns, I don't want to say obsolete, but a lot of people, they drive to make a great time instead of have a great time. That's what she says. Because like people used to, you take a road trip, you see all the little shops and all the stores and all the sites, but now you cut through the interstate and you just get there fast. You just see freeway the whole ride, but you don't see the mountains, right? You don't see the nature, you don't see the people, you don't get to do none of that. And because of that, their town is suffering, right? So that's the whole reason they need that road to get fixed, so people can come through there and they won't vanish, essentially. So ultimately, it's like that. Not everything is a race. Not everything needs to. You have to slow down, right? Everything. It's okay if you slow down. And then when they did, while they were doing the ride, the little road trip, their drive, he gets to see this waterfall. He sees the beauty of nature and everything like that. He learns a lesson, right? And he comes back, and they make it back to town, right? And they make it back to town, and they're on all the tractors that got out, right? The tractors that they were messing with the night before, the tractors got out. They're trying to round them up. But one of them goes this way. And Lightning McQueen's like, oh, I'll get him. But while he's out there, he sees Doc Hudson. Doc Hudson, he's at that dirt racetrack. He has some race wheels on. So he's like, oh, what are you doing, Doc? He's like watching him from the distance. And he watches him, right? And Doc Hudson takes off. He starts, and he's not going like at a crazy speed. He's going steady. And as soon as he makes that turn that nobody else can make, you see him just kind of swing into it, and he kind of just glides over it. He kind of turns and glides like a magic. And Lightning McQueen's like, oh, wow. Because it's Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson is Lightning McQueen. He's like, oh, wow. Right? And Doc finishes the lap. And Lightning McQueen's like, that was amazing. Right, Doc Hudson takes off, doesn't want to talk to him. Right, so now at this point of the movie, yeah, right, so, now it's the next day. And Lightning McQueen, he finishes the road. The road is complete. The stretch of road that he had to fix is done. But he's gotten to know the people. They've become friends. I think maybe it's changed him a little bit too. He's never cared about anybody before. But he's made friends with Mater. Sally's talked to him. He looks up to Doc Hudson. And everybody else, he kind of has like a little experience with them, become friends. And they're like, hey, well, that's it, man. Like, you finished the road. You did what you had to do. Is there anything out? Like, what do you want? He's like, well, does anybody know where I could get some tires, right? So Luigi, who sells tires, he's like, oh, yeah, I'll get you some tires. So he goes to the shop and he gets his tires. And then he's like, oh, does anybody know where I can do this? And he's helping out all these small businesses, right? Essentially, the movie is to promote small businesses. But he's helping everybody out, right? He's buying organic gas from this guy. He's buying military gear from the retired guy. He's buying bumper stickers and souvenirs. Everybody, right? He's helping out the whole town because the whole town had been wanting to make itself more presentable, right? So they painted everything. They fixed their neon. So at the end of the day, the sun goes down and their neon turns on. And everything's perfect. Everything's beautiful. And the lights are turned on. The road is completely the road is completely fixed. And life is good. And the whole town is out. Everybody's there. And they're dancing. And then Lightning McQueen is dancing with Sally. They become friends, right? So Lightning McQueen and Sally, they're talking, they're kissing, or they're about to kiss, they're about to like each other, or whatever it is. And then somebody says, "Hey, look at that! What's that?" And in the distance, you can see headlights coming down. There's customers. So you're like, "Oh yeah, that's customers! Everybody get ready! Everybody get ready!" And then when they get closer, it's news reporters. There's a helicopter light on Lightning McQueen, and they're there to find him. They're like, Lightning McQueen, where you been? Everybody's been looking for you. The race, this and that. And everybody's questioning him. And he's like, what? No. And he's trying to reach for Sally, but the press and the paparazzis, they all split him up. And then Matt comes in. He's like, Lightning, there you are, buddy. I thought I lost you. You got to get in. We got to go. And everybody rushes him out of there. They rush him out of there, load him into the truck. He doesn't even get a chance to talk to anybody, and they take him away. Like, he was just having such a nice moment with the town and with Sally and everybody, and he's gone. And then Lightning McQueen is like, and then Mater's like, I didn't even get to say goodbye, Mater. So they're sad, and then he's riding over there, and he's sad too. And another thing. This is another thing. One of the paparazzis, everybody's leaving. One of the paparazzis, they see Doc Hudson. They're like, "Hey, thanks for the call," right? And they take off. And then that's when we see that Sally's like, "You called them? You made them come and get him?" It's like, "Yeah, he wasn't good for this town, whatever it is," right? And then Sally's hurt. Everybody's hurt because they became friends with Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen helped them out in a way they didn't know they needed to be helped. Stuff like that. Now it's the next day. It's the day of the race. So it's the day of the race. Lightning McQueen is at the stadium, at his racetrack, and he's just not being himself, right? He's trying to talk himself up the same way he did at the beginning. He's like, "Come on, speed, this and that." And then whenever he tried to focus, tunnel in on winning the race, he could see his buddies, right? He could see Mater. He's having fun with Mater. He could see Sally driving with Sally, and he isn't focused, right? He isn't focused, and he doesn't have a crew chief. He doesn't have a crew, because they quit on the last race. So he's all by himself. It's just him and Mac. And they start the race. And it's just them three, you know what I mean? It's the blue car, the green car, and Lightning McQueen. And it's them three, and it's off to a bad start. He kind of like, he's not really racing. He's not doing his best. He's not doing great. He's not focused. And he's like Max on the intercom. He's like, "Hey, what's wrong? He's like, I don't know, Mac. Just my mind's not there." And then you hear, "Well, we didn't come all this way to watch you lose." And it's Doc Hudson. Doc Hudson's in his headset. Doc Hudson's in the pit. He's his crew chief. And he's like, "Doc, you're here?" He's like, "Yeah, Mater didn't get to say goodbye." And then Mater's like, "Goodbye, Lightning McQueen," whatever it is. And they're all there. Everybody's there. And he's like, "Wow, guys, you guys really came." I said, "Yeah." So he came on into the pit to say hey to everybody, and everybody's there to help him out because they became friends. He's like, "Wow, like, you guys are gonna be my pit crew, this and that." Like, "Yeah, we're gonna help you, bro. We're friends." And he's like, "Wow, thanks, guys." And he gets back out there. He's racing, and he's doing better. He feels good. He's racing. He's getting everything ready, and the people, right, the newsstand, they're like, "Guys, you're not gonna believe who Lightning McQueen has in the stand. It's the famous Doc Hudson, right?" Because Doc Hudson's whole story was, the reason he left racing in the first place was because he got in a big accident. And when he was finally back, he was finally ready. They didn't need him anymore. They didn't want him anymore. He said they moved on to the next rookie standing in line. And he says, "I didn't quit racing. Racing quit on me. Racing quit on me." Right? That was one of the big things when he was talking to Lightning. And then he's like, when he was giving him like this big heartfelt speech earlier in the day, he's like, "You think I quit? They quit on me. I'll never go back," this and that. And now he's back. He came back for Lightning. He saw something in Lightning that was enough for him to come back. So he's back. He's coaching them through it. The stands, everybody like, "Oh man, that's the fabulous Hudson Hornet. Oh, he's his chief, this and that, whatever." So it's exciting, right? He's back. Everybody's there, and he's going through the laps, right? They're doing I think they have to do 200 laps or whatever like that. And he's doing things that he's learned, right? Because at one point, the green car, he tried to cheat, tried to bump him, and it turned Lightning McQueen around. But Mater taught him how to drive with rear view mirrors, because usually doesn't use them. And so he taught him. So now he's driving backwards, doing all that. And they're racing, right? Boom, you got to change tires. But the thing is, the only guy that can change the tires is the forklift, is Guido, right? He's the guy who works with Luigi. They change the tires. And he comes in, and the other crew, they're making fun of him. Well, probably one of the best scenes in the movie. They're making fun of him. They're like, hey, little guy, what are you going to do? Are you going to be able to do all that? And then while they're talking, Lightning McQueen comes in. Guido gets to work. It's like, tires up in the air. Boom, he's out of there. By himself, he did it. By himself. He didn't even blink, I don't think. And everybody else is like, one man, one little forklift. So the team is tight, right? Teamwork is teamworking. And he's doing it, right? And he's finishing up, right? They're in the last few laps. They come to the last lap, right? And they're in there. They're all three racers are still in the race. All three racers are still in the race. They're coming to the end of the first lap. And the green car, Chet Hicks, the cheater, he's like, no, I'm not going to lose to either one of you. And he rams Lightning McQueen, right? But as he rams Lightning McQueen, he accidentally hits the blue car. And now the blue car, he's kind of spinning out of place. He rams Lightning McQueen, and he accidentally taps the blue car, so the blue car's wobbling. So Lightning McQueen gets pushed off the track into the grass, right? So he's into the grass, but instead of like overturning, losing control, he remembers what Doc says. Sometimes when you find yourself going hard enough right, you'll go left. Right? And he does that. And you see him like, instead of fighting it, he kind of let goes and he kind of turns with it. So instead of overturning and falling even further out and crashing, he kind of turns back, steers right back onto the track. Right? And Doc Hudson's like, I don't think he could clap, but he's like, there it is. Right? He learned the lesson. He got it. He got it and it saved him. But when Chet hit Lightning McQueen, he tapped the blue car. The blue car lost control. Boom, lifted up, rolled, crashed like a beer can. So as Lightning McQueen was doing that great maneuver, right, that was so cool. But when he comes back, he's about to win the race. Right, he's about to win the race. He's in first place now because the blue car crumbled over. Chet's kind of behind him. He's coming up to the checkered flag, to the finish line, and right before he stops. He stops right at the finish line. He doesn't cross it. The green car crosses it. And he goes into reverse. And he goes back, right? He goes back to the king. He goes back to the blue car. And the blue car, he's like all crumbled up. He's like, what are you doing, kid? What are you doing, kid? And that kid, that car, he gave him some good advice earlier. Earlier in the movie, at the end of the first race, he tells him, hey, that's some good racing you did out there. You got more talent in one lug nut. You got more talent in one lug nut than most cars do in their whole body. But you're dumb. And this ain't a one, he told him, he gave him the speech. He's like, this ain't a one-man show. You need a team. You got to learn. You got to this and that. But Lightning McQueen, he didn't listen. At the time, he didn't understand. He didn't listen. But now he knows. And he saw that blue car, right? He saw when he crashed, he's crumbled up. And he remembered the newspaper clippings that Doc Hudson had in his garage. And he remembered Doc Hudson. He said he was forgotten. He crashed. Nothing mattered, this and that. And that's why he stopped. He stopped. He went back. And he got the blue car, right? And he's like, blue car says, what are you doing, kid? He's like, oh, come on. Because that guy's name's the King, right? The blue car's named, they call him the King. He's like, oh, come on, the King should finish his last race. He's like, you threw away the piston cup. Like, you just threw away the piston cup. And Lightning McQueen says, some grumpy old race car told me it's just an empty cup. And he finishes, right? He pushes him through the finish line. He finishes too. And then they do the award, right? They do the award. And the winner is Chet, the green one. And they give him the trophy, they give the confetti. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah, you won. Get out of here. And they cheer for Lightning. They cheer for Lightning. They cheer for the King. That's what racing's all about. And Dynaco, right? Dynaco, the sponsor, instead of offering it to the Chet, the green one, they go to Lightning. He's like, hey, that was some good racing. We'd love for you to come race with us. Right? That was the offer. The offer that Lightning McQueen wanted. And he tells him, nah, these Rusty's guys over here, they gave me my big break. I'm gonna stay with them for a while. He's like, I respect that kid. Because he became a good person. He became a good person, Lightning McQueen. This wasn't the same Lightning McQueen 60 minutes ago, however long this episode is, 40 minutes ago. It's not the same guy. He's grown. He's learned. He knows to not only think about himself. He's like, that's some good racing. And Lightning McQueen, he found his friends, right? At the beginning, he didn't have any friends, no family. Now he found them. Doc Hudson's gonna train. Doc Hudson's his buddy, Mater, Sally, his whole gang, the whole town. They became his crew, his team, his pit crew. And that's what Cars was about. Lightning McQueen, young, arrogant rookie of the year. He found his way. He found his way. That was the movie Cars. I'm going to do Cars 2. We'll do Cars 3. Let me know if you guys like it. Let me know if you guys want to hear anything else for the next one. I'm Alvi. This is the Cine-Ops Podcast. Cine-Ops Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, everything. You know what I mean? Cineopspod@gmail.com if you want to let me know. I love you guys. Stay safe. Adios.